The schoolyard was supposed to be a safe place. For most children, it was filled with laughter, jump ropes, and carefree games. But for 8-year-old Lily Thompson, recess often meant something darker. She was a quiet farm girl with straw-colored hair and calloused little hands from helping her mother with chores before sunrise. She didn't wear the newest shoes or carry the prettiest backpack. Instead, her clothes often smelled faintly of hay, her boots were hand-me-downs, and her hair was tied back with whatever ribbon her mother could spare. That day, under the bright spring sun, Lily was cornered by 3 older kids. They sneered at her, mocking the way she spoke, her simple clothes, and the fact that she lived out in the sticks. At first, Lily tried to ignore them, clutching her math book tightly to her chest. But their cruelty escalated. One shoved her shoulder, another yanked her ribbon from her hair, and finally, the biggest boy raised his hand and shoved her so hard that her small head cracked against the metal side of the jungle gym. She fell to the ground, dazed, tears filling her eyes as blood trickled from her scalp. The other kids froze for a moment, realizing what they'd done. But instead of helping, they ran off, laughing nervously, leaving her lying in the dirt. Lily's mother, Sarah Thompson, was at home in the fields when the phone rang. Sarah wasn't just any mother, she was a single parent, a woman who carried the weight of a farm and a child on her back since her husband had died in a tractor accident 3 years earlier. She had built her life on resilience, waking up at dawn, pushing through exhaustion, and teaching Lily to be strong, kind, and unshakable in spirit. When the call came from the school nurse, Sarah's heart stopped. She dropped everything and sped to the school, her boots still muddy from the barn. The moment she walked into the office and saw her little girl with a bandaged head and tear-streaked cheeks, a fire ignited inside her, a fire that came not from anger alone, but from love, and from the deep well of strength that had carried her through life's storms. The principal's office felt small and cold as Sarah sat across from him. The principal fumbled with papers, explaining how children can sometimes be unkind and how these things happen. Sarah's jaw tightened. She knew this wasn't just about kids being unkind. This was about cruelty, neglect, and a system too quick to excuse it. "Do you understand what could have happened to my daughter?" Sarah's voice was calm, but each word carried weight like a hammer striking steel. A head injury isn't something you brush off, and this isn't the first time she's come home with bruises or tears. Where were the teachers? Where was the supervision? The principal shifted uncomfortably. We'll look into it." But Sarah wasn't a woman who settled for empty promises. She stood, holding Lily's hand tightly, and said, "You'll do more than look into it. You'll see the strength of a mother who refuses to let this continue." News of the incident spread quickly through their small town. Many parents had known Sarah for years, respected her hard work and quiet dignity. But now they saw another side of her, the unyielding protector, the mother who had faced tragedy and stood unbroken. She called a community meeting, gathering other parents, teachers, and even the local sheriff in the old church hall. With Lily by her side, Sarah stood before them and told the truth. Her voice trembled at first, but grew stronger with every word. "My daughter was bullied to the point of being injured, her head smashed against steel. But this isn't just about her. It's about every child who has been shoved, mocked, or left behind while adults looked away. Enough is enough." One by one, other parents began to share their own stories. Children who had cried in silence, families who had worried but never spoken up. The meeting turned into a movement. Sarah's courage gave them permission to raise their voices. The 3 bullies were eventually confronted, not with vengeance, but with accountability. Their parents were required to sit in the same hall and hear the pain their children had caused. Sarah insisted on compassion alongside justice. "They need to learn," she said, "not just be punished. If they don't understand the weight of what they've done, it will never change." The school instituted stricter supervision, anti-bullying workshops, and counseling programs. Teachers began paying closer attention. And slowly, Lily returned to school with her head held high, no longer a victim, but a symbol of resilience. One afternoon, months later, Lily and Sarah walked past the same jungle gym where it all began. Lily looked up at her mother and asked, "Mom, why didn't you just make them pay back the same way? Why weren't you mean to them?" Sarah knelt, brushing her daughter's hair back gently. Because strength, real strength, isn't about hurting back. It's about standing tall, protecting what's right, and making sure it doesn't happen again to you or anyone else. The bullies learned that day who Lily's mother truly was, not just a farm woman, not just a widow, but a force of nature. A mother whose love was fiercer than fear. A woman who transformed pain into purpose, turning a single moment of cruelty into a wave of change for an entire community. And Lily, she grew up never forgetting that lesson. She would later tell others, "My mom didn't just save me that day, she showed me how to live with courage." In a world where cruelty can break the innocent, the love and strength of one mother can rebuild hope and light a fire that changes everything.